start off asking about a minor league prospect in Connor Griffin. It came out today that now he's the number 2 overall prospect in all of baseball. Just, I know you have a lot going on up here, but just to be able to see what he's done in such a short period of time, how impressed can you be with him?
Very impressed, and very impressed with how he handled himself in Major League Spring Training this year, how he carried himself, the success he had, how he went about it every single day. And he's carried that over to the season and has had a heck of a season so far. Power, speed, everything you could ask for. And from all the reports that we're getting, being able to handle shortstop and center field really, really well. So just really happy for him and the success he's had and the honor that he gets of being the number 2 prospect.
He told me his goal is 80 stolen bases because he's already at 40, which is kind of crazy to think about. Do you think he can get there?
I wouldn't doubt him at all. He's really, really good.
When it comes to your big league teams today, what's sort of the message coming into this series, knowing that the last one didn't exactly go the way you wanted to, but there were some tight games and you guys were in them?
We were, and we've talked about that. Starting pitching has been the key for us, making sure that we've been in those games, in those last 2 in Seattle. Unfortunately, didn't score, and just getting back to middle of the plate, middle of the field, and there's a lot of space here in Kansas City to go gap to gap.
Yesterday was Paul. I mean, I think a lot of people could have predicted before you that he might be an all-star. Were you at all surprised, when the news came, or at what point you think, yeah, he's got to go?
Yeah, coming into the year, you never know what's going to happen with these guys, but you see the way Paul is every day, how he works, how detail-oriented he is, how he goes about it before it starts, during his starts, and the stuff he has. And he did it again yesterday in Seattle, pitched really, really well, and he deserves to be an all-star by the way who he is, how he competes, and how he prepares and works. He's one of a kind.
It's probably abstract, but do you notice a difference between 2024 Paul and 2025 Paul?
I think that Paul's still learning too. Last year came up in May and had, to the end of the season. I think this year, continuing to learn, and his routine evolves and how he continues to prepare. And he's, the thing about him that is not surprising me, the most fascinating thing is he wants to be great, and he's always looking for that next edge, the next thing to help him be the best.
Just kind of an off day for Oneil, a rest day for Oneil?
Yeah, a little rest day, lefty on the mound, and getting Canario in there.
Paul, how do you find the balance of seeing him go out there and wanting to see him strike out 15 every time, but also keeping that longer-term focus and keeping him healthy?
Yeah, it is. It's a balance, and I think not just with Paul, with all of our guys trying to find whatever that is that helps them be their best. And Paul is always going out there. He wants to strike everybody out. The thing that has been impressive to me too is the way that he's been able to induce contact earlier in the at bats, and sometimes it hasn't happened because I just believe sometimes this stuff is so good that guys have a hard time squaring it up. And we saw with the Cubs and the Cardinals, they're not going up there to take. They're going up. They're swinging the bat. They just haven't put the ball in play, and has run his pitch count up at times. But then you look at yesterday, 10 punch outs in 5 innings, and was really efficient in how he did it.
These days where he has that lighter workload, how often do you think those are going to happen? I guess through the rest of the year, or is it something you guys are kind of playing by ear?
Yeah, we're just playing it by ear right now, just to see. I mean, he's already up to 116 innings. He had 133 all year last year. So just monitoring that and monitoring him, communicating with him on how he's doing, and finding the best thing for him individually and for us as a team to win the game.
He seems on board with that, but he also said that it has to do a lot with how the standings are, and it doesn't make a lot of sense to necessarily overextend it right now. Are you surprised that you guys are as far out of the playoff picture as you are?
Yeah, I mean, I wish that we were closer, and I think that the thing with Paul and the challenge it would be, and as we continue to get better and continue to grow, for me being in that run right now, say we were at the top of the division, it still doesn't change the fact that Paul Skenes is only in his second year pitching in the big leagues, and it's hard to challenge him to jump from, I think he threw 160 innings last year. Right now he's on pace to go over 200. How do we jump from 160 to what is that number? I still think we'd be regardless of what the standings were, still looking somewhere in that 200-ish range to try to get him to. So for me, regardless of where the standings are, yes, I wish we were in the race, at the top of the division or looking to the wild card. And who knows, as we saw the homestand going 6-0. Hopefully we get back on track tonight and continue to get better and continue to push towards that. But ultimately our goal is to take care of not just Paul, but all of our players.
What's the key to kind of turning the offense back on here in Kansas City?
I think getting back to what we were doing at home, it was really good. Like I said, staying in the middle of the plate, in the middle of the field, and spraying those line drives. I don't think we did it consistently enough in Seattle, squaring the ball up. But even the ones that we did, McCutcheon, Rodriguez makes a great play. Gonzo lines out to first. We had some balls that we hit hard. Again, not as many as we would like, but didn't have much to show for it either.
You said you wanted to go gap to gap. You feel like there's a lot of space. What stands out to you about this field and maybe how that helps your offense?
Yeah, 387 to the gaps, and having played out there, I know that there's a lot of room to run and a lot of space to get some hits. So going up there, you can't try to hit homers here. You got to stay on the line and go gap to gap.
Thanks.
Thank you.